Hello grade 10, we are going to do some more string handling now, and these files will be available for you. So we're going to use our string handling methods again. So take note, the first one we're going to do is deleting now. We're going to delete the surname of a person's full name that's entered in this edit box, EDT strings. So let's go and get the name from EDT strings. There it is. So now to delete, well, let's have a look at our name. This is what it will look like, right? The best thing to do is delete everything up to including the space. That is one way. That's actually the easiest way. But what if we don't want to delete the first name? We only want to delete the surname. Well, then we've got to go delete from the pos of the space. And if we say the length of Surname, which will be 8, it will still work. Because, guess what? There will be many more characters that will be empty in Surname, because that's just the nature of a string. We haven't specified exactly how many characters that we want to have in the string. What if we said Surname and we only want 20 characters? Wait, no, don't put it there, sorry, my bad. Put it over there. If we declare our variable like this, then it's saying that there can only be 20 characters in Surname. What if we say only 8? Well, then we only have these characters available, and we want to delete the surname and keep John safe in Surname. Well, there's a couple of ways of doing this. I find this is much easier to do. S first, get a variable called S first, and copy, just like we did in the previous one, from Surname, starting at 1, pos of the space in Surname minus 1. Now that was a mouthful, I know, but what if we used our pos as an integer and got the pos of the space, pos of the space in Surname, which we actually do want to use, instead of this whole rigmarole, we can just write in the word our pos. Now that's understandable. We've saved the first name. Okay. We saved the first name. We've deleted the surname. Well, it sort of defeats the object, doesn't it? Because now we've just got S first, and all we've done is copy the first name and disregarded the surname. But if we wanted to delete without using that method, we use our delete procedure. Okay. So if we want to delete from the string, this is the difficult way, using delete. First have a look at our delete procedure. Take note, it's a procedure. Why? Because there's no equal sign involved, there's no assignment statement. It's just a statement on its own, delete, and in brackets we have the string we're going to delete from, the starting position, and the number of characters that we actually want to delete. I showed you the easy way, now I'm going to show you the difficult way using delete. If we have a look here, we want to start from 1. Oh, we're deleting the surname, aren't we? Yeah, so we actually want to start from this character here, character number 6. But we also want to delete the space, so actually we do want to start from the pos of the space, because we don't want the space. What do you want the space for? So we're going to delete the space and the surname. But here it's quite easy to see. The space and the surname are actually 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. But how are we going? What if the surname was a long surname? Then we don't know how many characters it is. We can say the length of Surname, which is 8, and we subtract. If we subtract 5 from it, then we're going to have 3 characters. So that would be fine. Hey? If we say the length of the whole string minus 5, which is the pos of the space, will give us 3. Okay, fine. So that will delete the surname. We'll be left with a space after John. It's probably not a train smash, but what if you want to delete the space as well? Well, then we have to get the pos of the space minus 1, because then that will translate to the 4 characters that we want to delete. So we get the pos of the space. Okay, so we're deleting from Surname, starting with our pos, and we're going to say the length of Surname is the number of characters minus 1, and that should display. We can then display Surname. Surname will now only have the first name and not even a space. So let's go and look at that again. Delete procedure. You delete from where you're deleting from. That is the Surname. Where are we going to start? Pos of the space in this case, because we want to delete the space as well in this case. And then the length of Surname, which is 8, but it's not minus 1, minus pos minus 1. Let's have a look. We're starting at number 5, and number of characters will be the length of that string, which is 8, minus 5, which will give us 3. 8 minus 5 is 3, but it's actually 8 minus 5, and then we actually want 4. So we want 8 minus 4, don't we? So it's got to be pos minus 1. So it's actually the mathematical correction there. The length of Surname, which in this case will be 8, minus the pos of the space, which is 5. Okay, and 5 minus 1 gives us, in this case, the number 4. So 8 minus 4 means that we are going to delete all of those. Now I'm going to try this with another name. Show message Surname. So we're going to see now. As you can see, this is not an easy way to do it. The other way that I showed you was easier. So Janet Jones. So that's a different name. Delete. So I'm going to click delete, and there we have Janet, and you won't have the space. If I had Janet and a hash and Jones, well, we won't find the space, will we? No, we're not finding the space there at all, because there's no space. So then we're looking for a hash in this case. Pos of the hash. And if I write in there Janet hash Jones, and there we have Janet, and the hash has been deleted as well. So I hope that explains something to you. It's quite a tricky one. The easiest way to do it is to just use S first and get the first name, and then you have basically removed the surname just by copying the first name. Right, that's that one. Now we have copy and display the surname of a person's full name that is entered in EDT strings. Yeah, so it's a slightly different angle. So we're going to copy the first name and display, copy and display the surname. So now we're going to isolate the surname and display it. Well, I'm going to delete straight off. Easy way to do it. Delete. I'm going to delete the first name and the surname, and then I will display it. Delete from Surname from 1 to the pos of the space. I can make it easier to understand. Let's go and get the pos of the space. rpos colon integer, and I'll say rpos equals pos of the space in Surname, and then I'm going to delete from Surname starting at character number 1, and the number of characters that I will be deleting in this case now, the number of characters are going to be from 1 up to and including the pos of the space. So there we go, rpos. And then I'll show a message. Now that is a quick way of doing it, and we'll run the program and see. It loads. Copy and display the surname, so there it is, perfectly fine. That was a quick way, deleting the first name and the position of the space, and then showing Surname. But what if we want to do it the long way? What if they said that we had to use copy? Right. So now that's going to be trickier, eh? So delete was easy in this case. It wasn't easy in this previous example. So if we're going to copy the surname, then we're going to go from the pos of the space. We're going to start at this one, pos of the space plus 1. It'll be the length. So we're going to start at number 6, and the length in this case will be 3, which will be 8 minus 5, which is 3. So we can copy. I'm going to say, let's make another variable, call it a sur. We're displaying the surname. First let's go and get it. Sur will be equal to copy from Surname starting at rpos, but not at the space, because we want to go to the space plus 1. The space plus 1 will be our starting point for copying. rpos plus 1. Okay, that's our starting point. How many characters? It will be the length of Surname minus the pos of the space. Length of Surname minus rpos. Now length of Surname should be in brackets. Surname length returns an integer. In this case it will be 8 for our example over here, and the pos of the space is 5, therefore we have left those 3. 8 minus 5 is 3, and we'll have correct surname. So that was the little trick there. It was easier to delete first and then copy, whereas in the previous activity it was easier to copy into another, copy the first name into another string called s first. So that is quite tricky. If we had to use copy, then this is what we would do. We start at the position of the space plus 1. The number of characters will be the length of the whole string minus the position of space, and we'll have 3, which will be the character, the surname in this case. If you ever get stuck, always use an example like this and number your string characters. It really goes a long way to help. Right, next activity, the last one. Insert a word from this. We're going to take a string from the small edit box and insert it into the line that's in the larger edit box. And we're going to insert this small edit box string at position number chosen by the spin edit called SED pos. You see, when you insert a small string into a large string, you have to know what position character number you're going to insert that string into. So if I want to put the name Rudolph into the string John Doe, I want to insert Rudolph into the right position. I want to put him into position number 6. Not so, because that's going to be his second name. So what will happen is when you insert it, this will move right up, and Rudolph will then go in there at position number 6. Sorry, this won't go there, this will go over here, because Rudolph had a space. Remember, Rudolph had a space. I'll just put that here. Here's our substring Rudolph, and here's where I've put it in. So Doe used to be over here, and I'm inserting this name into the character number 6, and that means this whole string here is going to be added to character number 6, and everything else is going to be moved up. Okay, so you can see Rudolph plus the space has now been entered into this long string here. It's now a big long string. We're going to do that in code using our method called insert. There it is. It's a procedure, it's not a function, there's no equal sign, and the parameters are the substring first, the smallest string, like Rudolph will come there, then the main string where we're going to insert it into, and then the position will be the character number where we're going to start inserting. So in this case it will obviously be number 6. So I'll use this example in when we run the program to test it. So we're going to simply do that. First of all, let's go and get our strings, S-line and S-line 2. I'll call it S-line 1 and S-line 2. And I'm going to say insert into S-line 1. No, the small substring comes first. The second parameter is our large string. So this is where you've got to memorize the insert procedure parameter list. And then this, I know we want it at 6, but we've got to read it from the spin edit SED pos dot value. We're going to choose 6, but you have to write code that that can be flexible for any input. So S-line 2 is the smaller string from EDT chars. S-line 1 is the large string from that large edit box there. And SED pos is our spin edit, where the user is going to choose a number from the spin edit. Okay, and then how are we going to display this? Well, I suppose we can do a show message, or we can do this. EDT strings dot text equals S-line 1. Why S-line 1? Because you're inserting S-line 2 into S-line 1. So we first get S-line 1 from EDT strings, S-line 2 from EDT chars. We type insert, and S-line 2 is going to go into S-line 1 at the position called SEDPOS.value, which is an integer, and then we go and display S-line 1 back into EDT strings.text. So whatever was in EDT strings is going to be replaced again with S-line 2. So let's go and do that. And we will use our example here, John Doe and Rudolph. And I'm going to put in Rudolph here, Rudolph, and a space. See, I had to hit the space there. I'm going to choose character number 6. Oops. 6. And then I'm going to click the button. And there we go. Success. Right, now you can do the activities, and I'll see you tomorrow.